Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, checking your phone, and realizing you just won $50 million. No more alarm clocks, no more bosses, no more bills. Just freedom. Now here's the question nobody asks. What if that moment, the greatest moment of your life, was actually the beginning of your destruction? Because statistically, it might be. Studies show that 1 in 3 lottery winners declare bankruptcy within 5 years of winning. Not people who were already struggling, people who had millions of dollars handed to them and still ended up with nothing. How does that happen? How do you take $50 million and turn it into zero? The answer has nothing to do with math. It has everything to do with your mind. The human brain spent hundreds of thousands of years evolving in scarcity. For most of human history, having enough meant surviving until tomorrow. Our brains were wired to spend, consume, and share resources fast. Because in the wild, hoarding was dangerous. Tomorrow was never guaranteed. So when a lottery winner suddenly has more money than they could spend in 10 lifetimes, the brain doesn't know what to do with that. It doesn't feel real. Psychologists have a name for this: sudden wealth syndrome. A condition where gaining enormous wealth extremely fast creates anxiety, paranoia, isolation, and reckless decisions. That sounds insane. Who gets anxious about winning millions? Almost everyone who wins, that's who. One study found that lottery winners were less satisfied with their life 2 years after winning compared to before winning millions. The money didn't make them happier. In many cases, it made them measurably more miserable. The problem wasn't money. The problem was that the money arrived before the person was psychologically ready for it. The moment people find out you won, your entire social world transforms overnight. Family members you haven't spoken to in years suddenly remember your birthday. Old friends reappear with business ideas. Neighbors who barely waved at you now want to have dinner. Strangers message you online. Churches and charities send letters. Everyone wants something. And here's the trap. Most lottery winners were ordinary, working-class people before they won. They were raised to be generous, to help family, to not be selfish. Now they're sitting on $50 million surrounded by people who need help, and every instinct they were raised with is screaming at them to give. So they do. They buy their mom a house, their sister needs a car, their brother has a business idea that just needs a little money to get started. Their cousin is about to lose their home. Their childhood friend has medical bills they can't pay. Each act on its own is kind, generous even, but together they are financially catastrophic. Take Jack Whittaker. He won $315 million in 2002. Within 4 years, he had given away or lost nearly everything. Robbed, sued, drained by people he trusted. He later said he wished he had torn the ticket up. $315 million gone. Because the psychological pressure of having wealth while everyone around you has needs is more than most people can survive. Here's something the lottery commercials never show you. When you win the lottery, you don't just get money, you lose your identity. Think about it. Most people define themselves by their work. What do you do is the first question strangers ask. It gives us structure, purpose, a reason to get up in the morning. Lottery winners suddenly have no reason to work. And for people who have worked their whole lives, that freedom doesn't feel liberating. It feels terrifying. The daily structure disappears. The friendship from work disappears. The sense of earning something disappears. The feeling of progress disappears. And what fills that void? For most lottery winners, the answer is spending. Buying things becomes the new activity. Shopping becomes the new purpose. I am the person with a mansion, the yacht, the cars, the designer clothes. But things don't fill psychological voids. They never have. So the spending escalates, always chasing the feeling that work and purpose used to provide, never quite finding it. The mansion feels ordinary after 6 months. The yacht sits unused at the dock. The cars are just cars. And the bank account drains every single month with nothing coming in to replace it. Most lottery winners have never managed serious money before in their lives. They grew up in households where money was scarce, where financial literacy wasn't taught, where investing meant putting $20 in a savings account. Now they're suddenly responsible for tens of millions of dollars. They don't know what a $50 million jackpot paid as a lump sum after federal and state taxes might actually be closer to 25 million. They don't understand how inflation eats idle cash. They don't know how to evaluate investment risk. And they are immediately surrounded by people who do know these things: financial advisors, lawyers, accountants, friends with investment opportunities, all of them to varying degrees, motivated by getting access to that money. Bad investments follow. Business deals with people they trust but shouldn't. Real estate that goes wrong. Stocks bought on tips instead of research. The money bleeds from every direction, and because they never understood how wealth actually works, they don't see it happening until it's already gone. Here's the brutal irony at the center of all of this. The traits that help people build and keep wealth: patience, discipline, the ability to say no, awareness of risk, delayed gratification. Those traits are built slowly, over years, by managing smaller amounts of money and learning from smaller mistakes. You cannot shortcut that process by handing someone $50 million. It's like giving someone who has never trained a day in their life a contract to compete in the Olympics next month. The opportunity is real. The resources are there, but the foundation isn't. And without the foundation, the opportunity destroys you. The lottery winners who kept their money almost always had some financial discipline before they won. The money amplified what was already there. And for everyone else, the money amplified what was already there too. The impulsiveness, the inability to say no, the identity crisis, the financial blind spots. The money made them more of who they already were. And if who they already were wasn't ready for wealth, the wealth became a weapon pointed directly at themselves. So why do lottery winners go broke? Not because they're stupid, not because they're lazy, not because they're uniquely broken people. They go broke because sudden massive wealth is one of the most psychological, destabilizing things that can happen to a human being. It strips away identity, attracts people with bad intentions, triggers ancient spending instincts, creates unbearable social pressure, and exposes every financial weakness a person has, all at once, with no warning and no preparation. But the real lesson here isn't about the lottery. It's about the relationship between your mind and your money. The relationship most people never examine. Your financial life is not determined primarily by how much money you have. It's determined by the beliefs, habits, psychological patterns you carry about money. Patterns that were shaped in childhood, reinforced by environment, and running quietly in the background of every single financial decision you make. Change the psychology, and the money follows. Leave the psychology unchanged, and no amount of money, not even $50 million, will be enough to save you.